Jesus! That's embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Greetings, little enzymes. Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. The topic of today's video is you're not on mute. So we're going to be getting into some workplace coworker stories that are kind of embarrassing, and one where a guy was not on mute and started talking crap about his coworkers and they heard everything. So before we get started, everything that you see and hear in this video will be linked in the description. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers for the month of September. I think we can do it. And let's just go ahead and get started. So the first story. The time I messed up by forgetting to mute my mic during an online match with my work buddies. So this happened just last night, and I'm still cringing every time I think about it. I'm in this little online gaming group with some guys from work. We play every week, mostly Rocket League and Smite. Don't know what that means. Anyway, we're deep in a match, things are getting intense, and I get called out for making a dumb move. Fair. I'm already a little salty because it's been a long day, so I make a mental note to go on a small rant to my wife after the match. Well, right after we finish, I take my headset off and start venting to her about these guys. I'm thinking I muted my mic. Yeah, guess who didn't mute their mic? I'm telling her all the juicy stuff. I go off about every single one of my colleagues in detail. Jesus. This is one of my fears. This is one of my irrational but low-key rational fears, that I will not mute my mic. Actually, this didn't happen to me, but oh my goodness, I just remembered. This didn't happen to me, but this happened to a girl I know. So we were on a meeting that's 50 people, executives, managers, supervisors, all types of people on this call. And she doesn't realize that she's not on mute because I think she turned down the volume on her computer, thought she wasn't on mute, picked up the phone to talk to her dad, and is venting about work on the call with probably her manager and my manager, other people, me on the call. And she's like, yeah, Dad, because work has just been so stressful, and I just, I'm just so depressed, and talking about some personal stuff with her dad on the phone. And everybody's like, girl, you're not on mute. You're not on mute. I don't know why the host of the meeting didn't mute her, because I'm pretty sure she had the power to, but she didn't. And so, oh, that's what it was. I think the regular host of the meeting wasn't there, so someone else was filling in for the regular host, and that's why we couldn't mute her. So she just kept going. No one could mute her, and because she had her volume down on the computer, she couldn't hear everyone yelling at her, telling her that she was not on mute. So I was messaging her vigorously on Teams, hey, you're not on mute. We can hear everything that you're saying. So then you can hear her on the phone be like, wait, Dad, oh my God, wait, I have to call you back. And she just disconnects from the call. Talk about secondhand embarrassment. That was the most embarrassing thing I probably have witnessed in my adult life. I was gonna say at work, but just in general, one of the most embarrassing things. So ever since then, and even before then, I've always been overly diligent about making sure I am on mute. If I have something going on and I just mute myself real quick, I have to go to the next room, I close the door, I'm just so paranoid. I'm double checking, did I put myself on mute? I don't want to end up like sis. She don't work there no more. I don't know whatever happened, but yeah. Anyways, so this guy says, or is it a guy? I'm not sure if it's a guy, but they say, I'm telling her all the juicy stuff. I go off about every single one of my colleagues in detail. Steve's such a try-hard. Dude, calm down. It's a game, not a performance review. Why does Ryan always act like he knows everything? He's not the boss. Stop being so smug. And oh my God, Ben's voice. It's like nails on a chalkboard sometimes. And I keep going for what feels like forever. I even start bringing up stuff from the office. My wife is just nodding and laughing along, clearly enjoying my little roast fest. When I finally cool down and put my headset back on, I casually glance at the screen to jump back into the next game. Dead silence. The guys are still in the call. The chat is dead. No one's left, but no one is saying a word. It's like they all collectively turned into ghosts. That's when it hits me. Oh my gosh. My mic wasn't muted. They heard everything. I sit there for a solid 10 seconds completely frozen. My brain's in panic mode. Should I say something? Pretend nothing happened? Close Discord and throw my PC into the ocean? I'm scrambling for some way to salvage this absolute disaster. Finally, in a desperate attempt to break the silence, I clear my throat and go, "So, anyone wanna queue up again?" More silence. Then Steve just goes, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." No one else says anything. We play one more painfully awkward round where literally no one speaks except for like basic callouts, left, right, enemy here, etc. I have never in my life experienced a more uncomfortable gaming session. Why did they play another game? I feel like at that point I would have logged off, but he kept going. As soon as we're done, I make up an excuse about needing to go do something and immediately log off. I'm still waiting for the fallout at work on Monday. So far, nothing's been said in the group chat. It's like everyone silently agreed to just pretend it didn't happen, but I know they know, and they know I know they know. Whew, TLDR, forgot to mute my mic during an online match with work buddies, went on a rant about every single one of them to my wife, and they heard it all. Now I'm living in awkward silence until the end of time. Oh my God. Okay, so there are a couple updates. Before we read that, I'll go to some of the comments. Someone says, "Don't be a coward and put it on them to bring it or not bring it up. You should apologize. It's the very least you can do." And a response says, "Yeah, apologize. Also, what you imagine to be silence was actually everybody messaging each other or creating a group chat to either roast you back or saying, 'What the F is wrong with you? Hope that makes you feel better, LOL.'" And someone else responded, "Or planning how to cut OP off from game nights. Yeah, that apology should ideally happen ASAP. It probably won't be a miracle fix, but it's still the best option." Somebody said, "The job market is dreadful right now, but hey, better than having to deal with those guys next week." Ah, man. And another person, "Yeah, OP, you messed up and now you're acting cowardly, which is just going to make it worse. Freaking send them all a message. Hey guys, I said some messed up stuff the other day while I thought I was muted on my mic. I was having a rough day and was just agitated and venting to my wife. I really didn't mean what I said. I was just being a whiny bee because I was playing like a noob. I should have been upset with myself, not you guys. I'm really sorry and hope I didn't offend you too much. If you want to ream me about it, I deserve it and am down to talk. Again, very sorry for being an a-hole. The only way to make this right is to humble yourself, own your mess up, and apologize. And be understanding if your apology isn't accepted or if you are treated differently. You just showed your coworkers a very ugly side of you. Only way to fix it is to own your crap and do better moving forward. Okay, so the next day he made some updates. Update 1, I went ahead and sent a message in the group chat to apologize. Here's what I wrote. Hey everyone, I wanted to reach out and sincerely apologize for my rant the other day. I realize now how out of line and hurtful my comments were. I didn't mean for any of it to come across the way it did, and I'm truly sorry for any offense or discomfort I caused. I understand if you need time or if you're not ready to talk yet, but I want to acknowledge my mistake and try to make things right. A few people have seen the message, but so far no one has responded. I get that it might be too awkward or they might need time to process. I just wanted to keep you all updated. And then update 2, after going over the thread, I realized my first apology was rushed and didn't really reflect how sorry I truly am. So I took a step back, rewrote it, and sent a new message. Hey everyone, I've had more time to think about what happened, and I want to give a better apology. I know the things I said were hurtful and crossed a major line, and I deeply regret letting my frustration get the best of me. There's no excuse for what I said, and I want to sincerely apologize. I value our work relationships and genuinely feel terrible for betraying your trust. I understand if you guys don't want to talk or hang out with me anymore, but I'm open to any conversations you might want to have. If not, I just want you to know I'm sorry and I'm going to work on being better. This time I got a few responses. One of them wrote back saying, "Thanks for reaching out. Let's just move forward and put this behind us." The other said something along the lines of, "I appreciate you owning up to it. It stung at the time, but I'm willing to move past it as long as it doesn't happen again." One coworker, however, messaged me privately saying, "Honestly, what you said wasn't just frustrating, it was completely unprofessional and crossed a line for me. I'm not comfortable with this and would prefer you don't contact me again. I'm honestly considering going to HR." That one stung, but I get it. I messed up royally. I'm just hoping this doesn't escalate further, but I know I can't undo the damage. All I can do now is try to learn from this and make sure nothing like this happens again. Thanks for pushing me to give a better apology, Reddit. Ooh, child. All right, this was September 2nd, I think, 7 days ago. Let's see if he has an update. Nope, no update. Well, I hope. That one coworker is saying that he was considering going to HR. I'm not so sure if he can because it didn't happen at work. I don't know. Maybe he might have a case for HR. I don't know. But dang, that would suck if he does end up going to HR or something happens. At least he owned up to what he did and apologized. That's so embarrassing. For all parties involved, that's so embarrassing. Let me go to the next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my coworker work sister after she called me work husband in front of everyone? So he had to friend zone the coworker? What's going on? I, 34 male, work in a small office, and we have about 30 people working here. Mary, 35 female, is one of my coworkers. We have been working together for 6 years now. We have 6 people in our department, and we have to frequently travel across the state as our work involves overseeing government projects. We always travel in a group of 2. Although my travel partner changes based on the project, Mary and I are generally put on similar projects and enjoy each other's company. My wife also likes Mary. Overall, we have a very healthy work relationship. On to the incident. Yesterday, we had a happy hour in our office and we were all drinking after work hours and chatting. It was a group of around 10 people that stayed back. Mary was blabbering about how we both have been traveling together so much in the last year. She was roasting me for my habits while traveling, like always forgetting stuff in my hotel room, being sweaty and stinky when I join her for breakfast in mornings because I go to the hotel gym. Everyone was laughing and she was making it sound how unbearable I was to tag along, all in good fun. I also told some funny and sweet stories about her and agreed with her, saying that I can be difficult to be with sometimes. Mary came to me and hugged me tightly and told me that she loves me and I am her work husband. It was all innocent on surface, but she might have been a bit drunk and just didn't let go of her tight hug. Also, I hate that phrase, as I do have a wife that I promised to be with forever and not just in non-working hours, period. You better stick up for your wife. After a few seconds, I started to become uncomfortable and also saw a few people staring at us. So, to diffuse the situation, I took her hands off my shoulder and told her she was my work sister, and that is why I love to annoy her so much. Jesus! That's embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I mean, what else was he supposed to do though? Really? Like, oh, you're my work husband. Everybody looking like, work husband? You know, eyeing them. She all hugged up. I'm not sure that he had any other course of action in this situation. Ha ha ha, Mary, you're so funny. You're my work sister. Yikes. That seemed to have upset Mary, and she left and went back to her desk and was sobbing silently. Sobbing silently. I'm sorry. It's not funny. Sobbing silently? Come on now. So it sounds to me like maybe she read more into their relationship than what it actually was. Like, she kind of let her thoughts get carried away. They're traveling together and they're spending all this time together, and she's having these kind of like intimate moments, eating breakfast with him and etc. And maybe she just allowed herself to get carried away in her mind, because sobbing silently is crazy. He says, I tried to apologize to her, but she told me how embarrassing the whole situation was. She said that she just meant work husband in a platonic way, but me calling her work sister made her sound like a creep in front of the whole office. She was also angry that I aggressively removed her hands from my shoulders while hugging. I tried to reason with her that I do not like the work husband phrase, and also people gave dirty looks when she said it, so I was just trying to make sure people do not take her words in the wrong way. We talked for a few minutes afterwards and Mary calmed down. She hugged me again and left. I mean, it is embarrassing. It's quite embarrassing. But I don't see that he did anything wrong. So imagine if the roles were reversed and it was a man talking about, yeah, you're my work wife, hugging this woman, and she's like, actually, like, get your hands off of me. You're more like a work brother. You know, in either situation, I don't see that that person would have done anything wrong. Although I do agree that it's quite embarrassing. I would be very embarrassed. And I'm like him. I don't really see the point in doing the whole work husband, work wife. I know some people have commented previously when we've had that like situation come up in a previous video that like they use it with their coworkers and it means nothing. Some people have commented that they've had a work wife or a work husband that ended up being their actual wife or actual husband. So different people have different ways that they feel about it. In this situation, I feel that he was just enforcing a boundary. Unfortunately, she got embarrassed, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Better to have a happy wife at home and no office rumors than to just let it happen and cause additional drama, I feel like. So he said, I felt really guilty afterwards because I can see Mary's point. I made her sound like a creep by implying that she meant something inappropriate when she called me her work husband. However, I was a bit uncomfortable in that situation and just did not want people to call us that or assume something wrong. Am I the a-hole for calling Mary my work sister? I am sitting in my office writing this and a bit worried if I embarrassed Mary in front of everyone. There are 2 updates. Oh wow, this actually spans some time. The original post was June 27th. And second post was in July 2nd. And third post was September 3rd, 2024. So before we get to the first update, let me read some comments. Someone said, I think you meant to ask in your last sentence if you're the a-hole for calling her your work sister, not work wife. Regardless, no, you're not the a-hole. All too often, work spouses end up being inappropriately involved, and you were trying to head off any rumors. Good on you. I think work sister is a much better term. OP said, thanks for catching the typo. I am too nervous this morning to face her. Another person, you didn't do anything wrong, not the a-hole. To my mind, she raises a red flag by being so upset about it. It meant more to her than it did to you. You may need to set a boundary of not traveling with her. And someone else, it sounded like she may be in love with OP. She reacted as if he friend-zoned her. Right. Yeah, because honestly, when she said that, oh, my work husband, and he was like, okay, work sister, she honestly could have been like, you know what, you're right, at work brother, and like agreed and kind of just went along with it. But to to run off and then sob silently at your desk, I'm sorry. And one more comment, not the a-hole, though you are being far too generous. The reason why she jumped straight to thinking you were calling her a creep is because she knows what she was doing was inappropriate. Work husband is considered widely inappropriate now. She knows this. You responded correctly. You owe your actual wife loyalty. Mary needs to back off and act more of a professional. I agree. So update 5 days later, I posted this about calling my coworker Mary my work sister after she tried to call me her work husband in front of the entire office. A lot of you are asking for an update, but that sub does not allow me to post an update, so I'm writing it here. Thanks everyone for your comments and giving me confidence that I did not do anything wrong or inappropriate. As I was sitting in the office the next day, I knew things would be a bit awkward between Mary and me. Mary ignored me the whole morning. Initially, I was planning to go apologize to her, but after the post, I decided I do not need to, as I should be the one who was offended. Everyone in the office could see that we were acting weird, and I heard some people gossiping about us. One of the ladies also came to me and asked me if I want to talk about Mary and me. Oh, Lord. Not there being office gossip and drama about this. Around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I was sitting in my office working. Mary came into my office and closed the door behind her. She was angry at me and started saying that I need to stop being an a-hole and stop ignoring her. I told her to sit and to talk about what is going on. She told me that she feels humiliated and everyone has been staring at her the whole morning because of what I did. I also stood my ground and told her that I was okay with her making fun of me, but calling me her work husband and hugging me in front of everyone for a long time made the situation awkward. She told me to get over myself and that I should know exactly what she meant. Mary said that I made a big deal of what was supposed to be a joke and made it awkward for everyone. She said calling someone work husband is a normal thing and just means that she knows me intimately like a spouse would. She said that because we spend so much time traveling together, she knows all the intimate details of how I behave outside of work. I stopped her and told her that I felt offended by the term work husband because I have a wife and I do not want people to use that term to describe our relationship. I told her that she would not understand as she is single. But as a married man, I really do not want anyone to describe me as a husband in any capacity. I mean, he's right. He's standing on business. He is standing up for his wife, and I respect it. She said that I am again misinterpreting what she was saying. She felt that as we have known each other more time than I have been married, she knows me more intimately than even my wife. I have no idea why she feels that way. And I also behave like her husband when we travel together. She went on about how we go out to dinners together after work, how I always insist on having breakfast together in the morning to plan our actions of the day, and I walk around in my underwear, referring to my gym shorts, around her in mornings. She also talked about how we spend hours talking to each other during road trips and how I am the only man she can trust with any secret in her life. She said that I am the definition of work husband and I am just in denial. She's in denial. All of these things that she said could fall under work brother. Like just being able to hang out with somebody, talk to someone, share with them their secrets, being comfortable around them, having meals and dinners together. That's something that you can do with a sibling too. She sounds like the one in denial. Again, as I said before, it sounds like she got carried away in her head and thinking more of what this relationship was than what it actually was. He said, I was a bit angry at this point. I told her that I do all that because I consider her my friend, and she is delusional if she feels she knows me more intimately than my wife. I told her I do not want to hear that term again, and it is extremely disrespectful to my marriage. Only one woman gets to call me her husband, and that is my wife. Moreover, if my actions are giving her such ideas, maybe we need to stop being friends. She became apologetic afterwards and told me that she did not mean to disrespect my wife, and it was not her intention. She apologized to me and told me to just let it go. She said that she loves traveling with me and she does not want anything to change between us. She again said that I am misinterpreting her statement and just wants to move on. She came to hug me again, but I just told her it was okay and stepped back. Right. I also talked to my wife about the incident that night. As expected, my wife was angry at Mary and told me that she hates the term work husband. She asked me if Mary has ever flirted with me during our trips or has a crush on me. I truthfully told her that I really have not felt that way, and she may have just said that because she was a bit drunk and is now being stubborn about it. My wife said that she feels a bit uncomfortable about Mary now and says that it's strike one for Mary and I need to try and put more distance between us while traveling. If she repeats the same behavior again, I should report her to HR. I promised my wife that I would try to reduce my interactions with Mary outside work hours and be more guarded around her. That is a husband, okay? He is serious about his wife. He is riding for his wife. I love it. So some comments before we go to the last update. Not the a-hole. I agree you should go to HR so they're aware of the situation. I would also suggest no more business trips with her if possible. The fact that she claims to know you more intimately than your wife is not only delusional and disrespectful, it's concerning. She's only beginning to show her crazy side. I agree. That's a strong statement to tell someone that you know them more intimately than their own spouse. That's a bold statement. Like, how you gonna tell me? Someone else says, also, she said that you walk around in your underwear, which also is not true. I feel like that's also part of the delusion. Someone else says, Mary's description of your relationship sounds really clingy and dependent. She has created a narrative in her head about your connection. The only man she can trust with any secret in her life. You better keep your interactions public. This can bite you in the butt very fast. Another person, not the a-hole, I agree with your wife that you should report this to HR just to CYA. And the last one, agreed. It's obvious your coworker is up for something else. Also, to avoid arguments between you and your wife regarding this one, listen to her and report your coworker to HR. I'm agreeing on that too. I think he should report it to HR, as this person said, just to cover his butt. Because the way she's acting, I also think he shouldn't take any more business trips with her if he can help it. He said she's the one that he just tends to travel with, but does it have to be her? I wouldn't travel with her anymore. There's no telling if she's gonna ramp up her delusions or craziness. She might try to slip something in his drink. She might try to take a photo and edit it and make it seem like something where it's not. So there is another update that was 2 months later. September 3rd, 2024. Update I wrote a while ago regarding my coworker friend Mary being upset with me for calling her my work sister when she called me her work husband in front of everyone. I'm sorry to leave everyone hanging, but the next few weeks were busy and the issue was eventually resolved. Thanks to everyone for the comments. They really helped me when I talked to my manager about the situation. However, the last week has been crazy, so I wanted to get opinions on what I should do next. After my last post, my wife and I were no longer comfortable with Mary's behavior. Although a part of me thought I was overreacting and that it was just part of Mary's personality, I felt the need to protect myself. I requested a meeting with my manager and HR to document my side of the story. I wrote down everything and told them about the incident at the party, as well as Mary coming into my office and the comments she made. I made it clear that while I did not want them to take action against her, I wanted to emphasize that her behavior made me uncomfortable, especially her comments about knowing me better than my wife and remarks about my shorts. My manager had already heard about the incident at the happy hour as everyone in the office was talking about it. He told me he would try to shake up the travel schedule to minimize our travel together. The issue was that only 4 people in our company generally work on off-site audits, and the other 2 coworkers did not want to split up because they claimed they worked well together. As a result, I continued traveling with Mary for the next couple of weeks, but it was awkward and I kept my distance. My manager then called Mary and me to his office and informed us that he was planning to train a new auditor, Carolina, 26 female, and set up a schedule where she would travel with me for 1 week and then Mary the following week. We were asked to train her. I liked this arrangement because it meant I no longer had to travel with Mary. Carolina turned out to be a great travel buddy, and I made sure not to get too comfortable with her. I always dressed professionally when we went for breakfast, avoided late-night drinks, and maintained healthy boundaries. Things were great until last week. Last Tuesday, I could feel everyone staring at me when I entered the office, and I was immediately called to a meeting with my manager and HR. HR asked if I had anything to report regarding Carolina and if she had made any advances towards me during our work trips. I told them no, that Carolina had been very professional the entire time. I asked why was I being interrogated, and they told me they couldn't disclose any further details, but that Carolina was being investigated by HR for inappropriate conduct. I left the meeting and Mary came to my office asking what had happened. She mentioned that she was also told Carolina would no longer be traveling with us and that we were asked to travel together again. Oh, this lady is crazy. This lady is crazy. I told her I had no idea what was going on. I messaged Carolina to see if she was okay and if she needed to talk. It's clear to me that Mary had something to do with whatever is going on. I'm not sure exactly what she did. I'm going to have to keep reading, but it's clear to me that she manipulated the situation to get Carolina out of the way so that she could travel with OP again. This lady is crazy. I messaged Carolina to see if she was okay and if she needed to talk. She asked if she could come to my office and I agreed. Carolina explained that someone anonymously sent messages to her boyfriend posing as someone from the office over the weekend. The message included screenshots of Carolina sending some inappropriate pictures she had taken in her hotel rooms during our travels and flirtatious messages. The person claimed to her boyfriend that Carolina was trying to cheat with him at work and he was just trying to warn them. Her boyfriend went crazy after seeing the pictures, ghosted her, and then sent the messages to HR as revenge. Carolina was in tears, telling me that she had only taken those pictures for her boyfriend and had no idea how they got leaked or how those messages even existed. Her boyfriend was furious because he also received the exact pictures from Carolina and knew they weren't fake. I consoled Carolina, but she's in deep trouble as our workplace takes such things very seriously because we work on government contracts. And I'm sure everyone suspects I am the anonymous messenger. I was told that the matter would be investigated and Mary and I would be working together on the project again. My manager said there was nothing he could do and also mentioned that they might go through my emails and messages on my company phone as part of the investigation into Carolina. Mary seems very happy about the whole situation and keeps talking about how excited she is to revisit the restaurants and bars we used to frequent during off-site trips. She also keeps referring to Carolina as that pervert. Mary is scary. Mary is scary. The whole thing is just crazy. My wife, of course, believes that I would never do anything appropriate with Carolina and that I wasn't the anonymous messenger. However, her conspiracy theory is that Mary, who was also traveling with Carolina, may have unlocked her phone and accessed the photos. I was trying to figure out, like, how would Mary get access to the photos, but I forgot that she was traveling with Carolina on the off weeks. It feels far-fetched, but the fact is I'm not thrilled about traveling with Mary again. I don't think I have any other recourse to get off this project except leaving the job, which isn't possible at this time. I know many of you work in HR, and I would appreciate any advice on what I can do next. This is crazy. So someone says, it was totally Mary. That's both terrifying and so creepy. I feel really bad for Carolina. I do not work in HR, but I would absolutely report again to your manager what Mary has been saying regarding the trips and her turn of phrase about Carolina as the situation continues. Write down her phrases and comments with dates and timestamps. You need to set very hard walls with Mary. Only ever contact her on your work phone and ensure you are not alone together unless it's in a very public place, preferably with cameras. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this, but I'm really glad you and your wife's relationship has not been affected by it. Stay strong. You did nothing wrong here. And someone else said, yep, there's something about Mary that's off. Another person, glad to know your wife has a functional brain out of everyone involved. And someone else says, it feels far-fetched. It really doesn't. There are two options. One, Carolina sent the messages to her boyfriend from a burner account. Two, Mary hacked her phone. As only you and Mary have traveled with her and it wasn't you, then which of the two options makes the most sense? Does Mary have a PIN or code on her phone? Is she protective about hiding it? Most aren't. If you leave your phone to go to the toilet, someone can go into Chrome settings and copy your user or password for your email, photos, etc., and access them anytime. Ooh. Oh. I think also, OP, if he is gonna start traveling with Mary again, he needs to be really diligent about keeping his phone close to him. I would change the passcode, and then every time he's unlocking his phone, make sure that Mary is not watching, because God forbid she get into his phone and then try to start manipulating some stuff there. Please, I'm gonna cross my fingers that he has something else. The last update was 5 days ago. Let's see. No, nothing else yet. But just looking into his comment history, I don't know, this guy seems a bit clueless. I don't know, maybe I am assuming, maybe he's being a little bit more rational than the rest of us, but he responded to someone and said, yes, I'm going to keep my guard up during the work trips, but again, I've known Mary for many years and do not feel she would stoop so low. There has to be more to the Carolina story than what I know. Then he said, regarding HR, I think I was not very forceful during my meeting about Mary. I kept on telling them I do not want her to be affected, but just want to document things. Regarding Carolina's phone being hacked by Mary, I feel my wife's theory is too far-fetched and just her theory. There has got to be more than what we know regarding Carolina, though she seemed genuine when I talked to her. I don't know, man. I think Mary, there has to be, it's just too much of a coincidence. It's just too much of a coincidence for it not to be Mary. Anyway, let's go to the next story since there's nothing else. So this one was a bit odd. This was cross-posted to the Dacia's Digest subreddit. So it is, what is WY? I don't know what WY means. If anyone does know, comment below. But the title is, "The guy who started today is clearly not the guy we interviewed and no one else has noticed. Hi all, a bit of a weird one here. I helped my team interview a candidate a couple weeks ago. By helped, I mean I asked all the questions and engaged with the candidate while my bosses worked on their own projects and half listened. I really liked the guy. He was outgoing and quick, knew what he was talking about to a very high level, and his experience matched. Now, normally, I wouldn't mention ethnicity or physical characteristics as it does not ever factor into my opinion of a candidate, but since it's relevant here, the guy was, I believe, Guatemalan and had a slight accent. He had black curly hair and stubble. He was also average height. We ran 4 other interviews for the position and ended up hiring the Guatemalan guy. Let's call him Josh. Since he had the experience and there were no red flags in the interview, not that my bosses would have noticed if there were, he was scheduled to start today. So, after a morning meeting, I swung by his new office to say hello and welcome him to the team. But when I got there, all I see is some tall, white guy with wavy brown hair. The nameplate on the door had Josh's first and last name, so I asked the guy if Josh was in, kind of assuming he was the IT guy helping set up. The guy said he was Josh, and the kicker is he also said, "It's great to see you again," and used my name. I hadn't yet introduced myself. He said it with what I would say is a Midwestern accent. I couldn't interrogate it too far because he was called into some onboarding thing, but I was really confused. I ran into my boss afterwards and he said he had a nice conversation with Josh this morning and he feels reaffirmed that we made the right choice. I said, that doesn't seem to be the guy we interviewed. I don't know if he thought it was a joke, but my boss said, "You're a quick judge of character, but time will tell if you're a good one," then laughed and walked away. No one else seemed to have noticed that it is a completely different guy. I haven't brought it up outright to anyone yet, but wanted to because this is weird and seemingly fraudulent. I just don't know how to bring this up to a superior or HR. So I guess that's question 1. Question 2 is, has anyone in HR heard of something like this before? I would think you have protocols in place to ensure this doesn't happen. That's crazy. I would feel like I'm in like the Truman Show or something if something like this happened. And the fact that this other random guy knew OP's name and what OP looked like, that's creepy. It's either that or OP is schizophrenic. It's either there's some fraud being committed or OP is having some kind of hallucinations. I don't know. So someone said, "This is the content I signed up for. I need to know who the real Josh is." Someone responded, "If it really is a different person than the interviewee, then the person who showed up at the office is most likely the real Josh, and the interviewee was the guy Josh hired to interview for him, who actually knows about all the stuff in the job description that Josh has never heard of before." Right, like that would be, I guess, what the fraud is. Someone said, "So far this year, we have caught 3 to 4 people doing this in a company of about 30,000. It's becoming more prevalent, but I can't imagine how or where they are finding these people to interview for them. It's crazy." And I'm thinking, like, if the person is good enough to land the interview, then why not them get the job? Like, I would be, if it were me, maybe they have like a record or something. I don't know. That's crazy. I would definitely notice. I mean, I've interviewed a couple of people who are now on my team, and if someone different logged in to Zoom, I'll be like, wait a minute, who is this? And then someone else says, yes, this makes sense. The guy in the office is the real Josh. That way, if he has to prove who he is, his ID matches his name tag. So then there is a slight update. No freaking joke. Seconds after posting this, I got a connection request from Josh on LinkedIn. The profile picture is the white dude, but his cover photo is the Guatemalan flag. What? Edit 2, to clarify, the interview was in person and about 4 weeks ago. That is so odd. Does he have anything else? No. So I guess someone is maybe saying like it was the same guy, but he lost his tan. OP said, sure, but then what would explain the tan 4 weeks ago? Vacation? A tan dissipating completely within 4 weeks would also be odd to me. This person is so white, you couldn't wear him to a wedding. I don't know, that's odd. I hope he doesn't update. Dang, I can't comment. I wanted to comment so I could be notified of the update, but well, that is the last main read of the video. I hope he figures out the mystery. And for the palate cleanser, it's a photo. So I saw this on the Made Me Smile subreddit. There's a picture of a baby sitting in like a baby, maybe swing type of thing, and a bowl of dog food sitting next to the baby. It's like a newborn baby. And then there's a dog right next to it eating out of his dog bowl of food. And the caption says, their dog wasn't eating well after they brought their baby home. The dog kept taking food to the living room. Someone suggested the dog might be feeding the baby since the baby wasn't visibly eating. They tried giving the baby a bowl of food at the same time, and it worked. So I just thought that was so cute, like the way that dogs are when it comes to babies, and then they just want to like take care of them, and like they're so gentle. Well, some of them are so like gentle and calm around them. It's just so precious. I would like to have a dog. It's a lot of work. I have to mentally prepare myself, prepare my home to have a dog, but one of these days I'll do it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.